This is going to be a government keynote by Ms. Shilpa Nag, Commissioner, Rural Development and E-Governance, Government of Karnataka. Ms. Nag is an IAS officer of 2014 batch from Karnataka cadre. She is currently serving as Commissioner, Rural Development and Director, E-Governance in the Rural Development and Panchayati Raj Department in Government of Karnataka. Prior to this, she was Commissioner, Mysuru City Corporation. Ms. Shilpa has done a postgraduate diploma in Human Resource Management and is also an MBA. Can we please put our hands together and welcome Ms. Shilpa Nag up on stage, please?
Are you the same one sitting since morning? Hopefully not. Okay. I can see that, almost 60% of the participants have left for the day. Just pause it. Pause it. Can you pause it? Please. Can you play from the beginning? So maybe to wake myself up and all of you up, we'll start with a small video so that we can get the context and then start the discussion after that. Yeah, you can please start.
Espera un momento.
Quería darme de alta en autónomos.
Ventanilla de información, modelo TA1. Lo cumplimenta en esa mesa y después.
Me he traído relleno.
No ha rellenado esa casilla. Vaya a las mesas de la entrada y...
He traído 2 copias, escritas y revisadas.
Le falta el impreso de Hacienda. Y la fotocopia. Muy bien, Rubita. Tú lo has querido. Fotocopia del DNI. Número de cuenta. Fotocopia de la tarjeta de la Seguridad Social. Fotocopia de los impresos de Hacienda. Doble fotocopia del modelo 036, numerado y grapado.
Okay, first impressions. I'm from the government. We'll be talking about citizen service delivery. So this is a Spanish short film, almost like a parody of an experience of a citizen when they go to a government office. Is it very different in India? Is it the same? Is it worse? Same? Okay. Worse? Hopefully not. Okay, so I wanted to start with the bureaucratic red tape, which we all call. And of course, here it is an empowered, frustrated but empowered citizen who literally understands everything that can go wrong and everything that she should get, including a stapler, to get her work done. But of course, any ordinary citizen cannot be as courageous as her. So right now I'll be talking about citizen service delivery, various platforms that are available with Government of Karnataka, and also something about the payment gateways that we require, the work that we are doing, the works that have been envisaged, and a future roadmap for Karnataka. First of all, I want to understand the audience because then I can keep my message relevant to the audience. Is it everybody are from the banking and financial sector? Mix of both. Okay, basically finance people. Okay, okay. Okay, okay, fine. Wonderful. So I belong to the RDPR department, the Rural Development and Panchayat Raj department. So upfront, I must tell you that when we talk about technology, digitalization, digital payments, and digital solutions for citizen services, we've been focusing almost exclusively in urban conglomerates, if I'm not wrong. So we want to take it to the rural people. So to just give you a sense of numbers, since the 2021 census is not happened, out of 121 crore people, according to 2011 census, 83.3 crore are from rural areas and only 37.7 crore are from urban areas. So in Karnataka, we have 61.5% rural population, and out of that, around 4 crore to 4.5 crore people live in villages of Karnataka. And again, since it is not a government crowd, I'm generally used to of talking to stakeholders from the government and entities and agencies associated with the government. I'll just talk very briefly about the governance structures when it comes to urban governance as well as rural governance. So urban governance, all of you know, there are major corporations, the urban local bodies. For example, if we take Bangalore, which has 1 crore plus population, we have the BBMP, Brihat Mahanagarapalika, Brihat Bengaluru Mahanagarapalika. And in Bombay, we have BMC and all that. Then we have smaller corporations, city corporations, and we have TMCs, town municipal councils, and we also have town panchayats. So in rural areas, we have a 3-tiered hierarchical structure. Again, it is a rural local body structure. So I hope that you're familiar with the panchayats. So for example, in Karnataka, we have 31 districts, 227 taluks, and 5,962 gram panchayats. So at the district level, we have the Zilla panchayats, and at the taluka level, we have the taluk panchayats, and at the gram panchayat level, we have the gram panchayats. So we have around 28,000 villages. So one gram panchayat may consist of 3 to 4 to 6 to 8 villages, depending on the population. So basically, I'm coming from a RDPR perspective. So my focus of attention would be governance through gram panchayats, because that will be our first citizen touch point that the government touches. So Karnataka has been a pioneer in e-governance. So even in the private sector, of course, we are the Silicon Valley of India. We are the IT capital. So we are very IT savvy. Even in governance, to give you an example, for the last 5 years, Karnataka has won the E-Puraskar or the E-Panchayat National Award consistently for the last 5 years, every year. So we are there, we are doing a lot, but we have still a long way to go. So let me talk about a software called Panchatantra 2.0. So Panchatantra, Pancha belongs to the Panchayat. So why it is a Panchayat? Because usually in the olden times, there used to be a banyan tree or any sort of a big tree with a lot of shade. And under that 5 elder men, mainly men, I mean, I don't think Panchayats had women, at least at that point of time, would kind of dispense justice, take governance decisions and all that. So in the same concept, panchayats have come about after independence and through multiple acts across the country. So in Karnataka, we have the Karnataka Panchayat Raj Act 1993, according to which these panchayats are set up. So Tantra is nothing but Tantramsha, or even in Sanskrit, Hindi, Kannada, and a lot of languages. Tantra means technology, so we call it Panchtantra. We started off, I think it's been 1 decade since we started Panchtantra. So Panchtantra was mostly a software for accounting purposes of Gram Panchayats. So right now it is more of a comprehensive governance solution, and our citizen services platform, on which I'll be focusing more, is a part of Panchatantra. So definitely all of you know the benefits to enhance impact and reach, and basically to provide knowledge centers at the Gram Panchayat level, and streamlining operations. And most importantly, what we at the state level feel is that we don't have adequate data to monitor, what districts are doing, what taluks are doing. So in government, even to this very day, so many times when we have to hold meetings, review meetings, whether it is held by the chief minister, the chief secretary, the additional chief secretary, or even a commissioner like me, at least 40 to 50% of the data we collect from the districts themselves. So we send out formats, we send out Excel sheets where they fill the information, and we sit and review them with the information they have provided us. So of course, we don't want to do that. We want robust MIS and dashboards where real-time data is available, so that decision-making as well as monitoring, happens seamlessly, and evidence-based decision-making. So in government, planning is a very important, point, wherein for every rupee that is released, it has to be properly democratically planned. So one is the participatory element of it, and one is the evidence-based decision-making part of it. I'm sure Panchatantra too will aid both of those requirements. And of course, enhancing revenues, panchayats being rural local bodies or rural self-government, collecting revenue for the development of the panchayats is a very crucial point. And technology will bring in a lot of transparency, cut costs, and citizen touch points. As of now, anybody who wants to avail a service from a government department has to physically walk into a government department, like the one you saw in the video. And definitely there are delays, like, he wanted to have his black coffee, there are lunch breaks, there are tea breaks, there are coffee breaks, there are cigarette breaks, there are multiple breaks. And also people in the villages with connectivity. We can only talk about the peri-urban panchayats, but there are remote panchayats even in Karnataka, not just in the northeast of India, where, even commuting and coming from a village to a Gram Panchayat itself, people may lose 1 day wage. So keeping all this in mind, to make it as quick as possible, as seamless as possible, less corrupt as possible, with least human interference, what is Panchatantra is trying to do. So this is the overall architecture. I don't think it will be too much relevant to this group. So from planning to revenue collection to citizen services, which will be exclusively focusing on the human resource management system, to operations, wherein GP profile management, lot of geo asset mapping will happen, to MIS reporting analytics, lot of horizontal layers are also there. So let's start with the Bapuji Seva Kendra. So Bapuji Seva Kendra is a citizen services portal of Government of Karnataka. So it was established 5-6 years ago, but at that point of time, it was housed within the Panchatantra, wherein people had to physically come to a Gram Panchayat, and a data entry operator would take the application physically, key in the information into Panchatantra on the BSK platform, and then give them the services. And again, once the certificate is ready, they had to come back. So just to give you an idea, in a Gram Panchayat, what kind of services are offered, people can come and pay property tax, industries and trade bodies can take their trade license, renew their trade license. There are building licenses that they'll have to take. There are certain no objection certificates they can obtain. They can come and apply for NREGA. So NREGA is the world's largest employment guarantee scheme, where we assure 100 days of, employment, manual labor to any willing family, rural family. So they can demand for work under NREGA, they can obtain the Arogya Karnataka card, the Ayushman Bharat Arogya Karnataka card, the Universal Disability Identity card, and multiple other services. So Bapuji Seva Kendra was a physical center. Now in the last 1 year, we have transformed it into a digital center. So there is a BSK portal that citizens can access and make online payments. Of course, for a lot of us urban Indians, we feel that, of course, it is always there. This is not something new. But in Bamasha is there in Rajasthan. Apart from that, not many state governments have actually taken this initiative, where even for rural citizens, this kind of online payment, online application submission, availing of services is there. Parallelly, we also have the BSK app on Google Play Store and Apple, wherein they can actually install the app and make all these transactions and applications with government. So at the BSK right now, we have the G2C services basically. And Bapuji Seva Kendra, I must tell you, it's not a profit model. So Gram Panchayat is a service delivery portal or a center for citizens. So it is only running on cost basis. It is a service that the panchayats provide. So we are not taking any convenience fee or additional fee, transaction fee for this purpose. So also we have the Aadhaar enrollment and updation. So Aadhaar is compulsory for a lot of things right now. So getting an Aadhaar card, especially of a child, and changing your address or phone number, these services are very much essential. So Gram Panchayats also do that duty. And along with that, some of the B2C services also are being given. So it is huge. Again, when we look at the entire country, it is huge. 2.5 lakh Gram Panchayats are there all across the country. In Karnataka, we have almost 6,000 Gram Panchayats. So that is the magnitude of the entire thing. I think it is all single sign-on and interface. I think SLA management, for the first time, appeal management. Basically, if citizens have a problem with services, where will they go? It's not like we have a call center where people can call and complain. Government, it is still evolving. And also we must understand that unlike a company, government is something which is very, very big and complex, and that is why it's messy. So appeal management, and we have a help desk for rural citizens to call and understand and solve their technical issues or any knowledge gaps that they have. And as I already mentioned, standard fees. So a lot of retail corruption that happens at the lowest level can be reduced or eliminated completely. And digital payment and receipts, because there was a tendency with a lot of Gram Panchayat bill collectors to collect property taxes and not deposit it into the bank. So the government was losing revenue, the Gram Panchayat was losing revenue. So after 6 to 8 months, maybe they deposit and kind of lose out on all that. So this digital, immediately issuing a digital receipt will kind of provide accountability at the Gram Panchayat level. So we have a lot of integrations, that has gone in, but I don't think it will be relevant to this particular audience. Let's come to the payments. As of now, just to make you understand, Bapuji Seva Kendra is integrated with HDFC. They came through a competitive mechanism, a tender. And we are also looking for an additional banking partner. And as of now, we have enabled credit and debit card and net banking, integrations for online payments. But most importantly, what we are looking for is UPI. And there may be, and these fees are not very high. For example, a property tax, in a rural area for a residential property, maybe around 600 rupees, 700 rupees and all that. So everybody may not have a credit and debit card, but we know that there is a lot of usage of UPI by even rural citizens everywhere. Any vendor we go to have nariyal pani, literally I've stopped carrying cash and you can just scan and pay. So we are looking at UPI options, both on the mobile phone as well as at the touch point level. And most importantly, we are looking for MPOS or Android POS, point of sale machines, because a lot of people, we have this concept called the bill collector. Even if people don't come to the Gram Panchayat to pay taxes, the bill collector goes door to door and collects that amount. So we are looking at that solution, whichever entity can provide, and at the least possible cost, or even only on transaction for T+1 or T+2 days. So this is something which we are actually on the verge of finishing. This is our immediate requirement. So like I was mentioning, these are the services that are there on Bapuji Seva Kendra of RDP, our department, Government of Karnataka. We have property related services like property tax, building license, occupancy certificate, and most importantly, these two, property record, that is Form 9 and 11A. These are nothing but property right certificate that they'll have to obtain to make any transaction, for selling their property and all that. This will be obtained by the panchayat. Many North Indian states, actually, the revenue department performs this function. Panchayats just collect the property tax, but in Karnataka, panchayats also issue record of rights certificates to citizens. And property record Form 11B for, not irregular, but not very regular properties with limited rights and liabilities. And again, household utilities also come under these services. For example, if somebody wants to apply for a new water supply connection or apply for a disconnection, and maintenance related issues of street lights, water, sanitation, etc. And business related, like I was already mentioning, trade license and permission for industries, which usually take a long time. And under ease of doing business rules, we have to facilitate this process. So we have brought that in as well. And road cutting permission by any entity to lay OFC cables and all that, that also has to be obtained from the panchayat if it's in a rural area. And no objection certificate for various reasons, and a right of way for mobile tower and OFC cables. And Banrega I've already mentioned, it's a non-financial service. So BSK portal, of course, we have done a lot of additionalities into the BSK portal. These are the outreach strategies. These are all the screenshots. Maybe interested parties can visit bsk.karnataka.gov.in or even install our app on Google Play Store, Bapuji Seva Kendra, and just go through it. So apart from that, let's come to a larger perspective of e-governance and citizen service delivery in Karnataka. So it started in 2005. Those who are from Bangalore may have heard of Bengaluru 1. It was the first of its kind one-stop solution for citizen services. It had a very, importantly a franchisee model, and it offered not just G2C but also B2C services. Lot of services including recharging your mobile phone, booking air tickets and all that, along with all the government department functions, paying electricity bill, etc. So that was the first masterstroke. I think this is a very successful model even today in Bangalore. We offer 125 services, like I mentioned, G2C and 33 B2C services. And even now, government is running most of them, 146 centers, and franchisees are running 72. And initiatives and innovations in this, we have Bangalore 1 on wheels and citizen doorstep delivery and commercial complexes where government is running. After that, in 2008, we also, on the same model, apart from Bangalore, outside Bangalore in other urban centers, we started the Karnataka 1, like larger cities like Mysuru, Belagavi, etc. There we have lesser number of services, and again, it is based on a hybrid model of government and franchisee. And then we came to BSK1, which I was mentioning about, which was actually more of a physical center from the citizens' point of view. And then we have the Seva Sindhu. Seva Sindhu is the biggest, portal of government of Karnataka, where we have 798 services of all the departments, government departments in Karnataka, of 74 various government departments. It is online, again on mobile phone as well as a web portal. And even our RDPR services are included in Seva Sindhu. Seva Sindhu was being extensively used to gain these interstate passes during COVID, second wave of COVID for movement and all that. So that has been stabilized. It's working really well now. And apart from that, we have Grama 1 in each and every village. Like I mentioned, we have 28,000 villages. So that, more than the Gram Panchayat in their own village, if they can have a center. But the difference between Bapuji Seva Kendra and Grama 1 is that Bapuji Seva Kendra is a government-led initiative within a Gram Panchayat with no profit motive. Whereas Grama 1 will have some sort of a convenience fee, and it is a village-level entrepreneur who will run the Grama 1. And all the Seva Sindhu and BSK services will be available in Grama 1. And our Honorable Chief Minister introduced Jana Sevaka very recently. Basically, even after the certificates are issued, there are Jana Sevaks who will actually take the certificate and give it at the doorstep of the citizens. This is something Karnataka has recently started last year. And like I was mentioning, in RDPR department, we have gone to BSK 2.0. And there are other softwares like NGSK, eBelako. I think that is not relevant to this set of people. So we also have a concept called the Common Service Centers, and it is a Government of India Special Purpose Vehicle SPV that has been set up. So CSC is another citizen. I'm just mentioning the variety, of agencies that are operating, whether it is government, semi-government or private. So again, CSC offers both the G2C, B2C services, including Aadhaar related services. Even in Karnataka, CSCs are very active. But right now, government is focusing more on Grama 1 than CSC because state government didn't have any direct control over CSC, and there were a lot of quality issues and complaints of citizens which were not resolved. So even now, CSC centers are working across towns and cities in Karnataka. Okay, so these are the photos of our citizen service centers in rural Karnataka. We have established one single desk for proficient delivery of services. So that's all from my side, from the presentation point of view. If any of you have any questions or any further clarifications to seek or additional information, I'd be really happy to answer.
Yeah, Thanks a lot for the presentation. It was really insightful. I just generic question. So within the BFSI space, as commercial institutes, etc., our prime reason for implementation digital transformation is ROI. So if we have to make a pitch, we usually pitch it on the basis of an ROI to the organization. Within the government, what is your elevator pitch if you have to basically seek funds for fresh initiatives?
So basically it works in different ways. Most government procurements of goods and services happen, even consultancy services happen on the basis of Karnataka Transparency in Public Procurement Act, KTPP Act. So there under that, we call for expression of interest or direct tender generally. But now, these services have become so innovative and the competition is so intense that we even receive proposals from, different banks and other service partners offering almost zero cost to the government. So the most common, offering that we are getting right now is the T+1 or the T+2 model, wherein they're not charging any convenience fee or anything. They are, coordinating with the payment gateway people and everything. They're, actually incurring all the cost. But whenever these, accumulations happen, financial flows happen with a delay in transfer. So I must also explain the model, the financial model that we are doing. In a lot of things, for example, in an urban local body or any department, it is citizen pays, it comes to a centralized account and the department will have that money. What is unique about RDPR is that, like I was mentioning, Gram Panchayats are rural self-government. So once the citizen from any panchayat pays for any service online, it comes into a centralized pool account, which is at the state level. And then after T+1 or T+2, according to the banking partners agreement we have entered into, it flows into the respective panchayat. So of course, when we call for an EOI or tender, you can definitely apply. Or if you have any innovative products and services that you have, and if you are willing to offer that at zero cost to government, definitely it can be, sent directly. And depending on the financial and legal implications of that, decisions can be taken.
Thank you. And first of all, the start of the entire the presentation was really interesting. And I must say that, the way in which the government departments and, people like you are taking the initiatives and coming and showing us this, it's an, in a way, game changer for us that, how well the participation is happening from the government side. So thanks for that.
Thank you so much.
One quick question that I had was, we do keep hearing a lot of initiatives being taken from government side, right? And as a ground user, still there are a lot of issues with the, reachability of this initiative. So like, when we have a boardroom presentation, in our corporate language, we say that when we have a boardroom discussions, whether those boardroom discussions are really penetrating till the ground level or not, we do have various ways in corporate, right? So we do take feedback surveys from our employees and like that. Likewise, this initiatives, what you are initiating, in order to check whether this is really reaching till the last mile, what kind of mechanism do you have to collect that feedback and then, try to keep improving upon that? That would be interesting to know. Yeah.
So definitely, that is why I was mentioning Panchtantra 2 is a solution to that. We take different kinds of feedbacks. The first and direct feedback mechanism would be a call center, wherein citizens directly call. Even on our BSK portal, we have feedback mechanism where people can file complaints and everything. So we have a limited time response, call centers wherein that issue has to be resolved depending on ticket raising. We also get a lot of citizen feedback surveys done by third parties, whether within the government or academic institutions, or we have State Institute of Rural Development, which is a capacity building wing of the RDPR department. So these kind of surveys are regularly done. And of course, MIS and dashboards to Panchatantra 2. And citizen feedback, all of us as government officers at the state level, there are IAS officers at the district level called the chief executive officers of Zilla Panchayats. So when they travel, and when the executive officers of Taluk Panchayat or any line department official, when they travel, we have a checklist where they can actually go and talk to citizen, and inspection checklist wherein, data is collected, feedback is taken in a particular format with their own observations. So constantly there is a, way of improving. And like I mentioned to you, these are huge, if these are volumes are huge, touch points are huge, and there are different levels of people. even capacity building, for 6,000 panchayats. Imagine the number of people, and even the willingness to accept new technology. So you must be remembering that in the 90s, when we had these computerization, we used to call at that point of time, computerization of national banks, all the bank employees went on a huge, massive strike. And, so even now in governments, of course, one is that they always status quoist attitude that we are doing it, we want to do. And secondly, no, we don't want transparency, again off the record. So we want to stick to whatever we were doing. That is always there, resistance is always there. So it is an entire change management initiative. In government, it is not just building technology and plugging it as a solution. Government, anything that we do, it's like a larger change management, event that will happen. It's like a watershed moment when you do something, constantly evolve out of that, take feedback and, refine the system and then make it better. So of course, our initial lead time will be much higher than any private company. It will take like 1.5 years to stabilize. But once we institutionalize, I'm sure, it will. So we are doing our best through multiple channels.
I'd just like to add to what
Madam, it would be nice if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah. I'm Dr. Mamta. I'm Inspector General of Registration and Commissioner of Stamps from Government of Karnataka. Till recently, I was the Additional Mission Director of Sakala. So I'll just add to, because your question was very interesting. Just like you people are doing your ground, checking the ground realities and keeping your ears to the ground, we have, through Sakala, we have started this initiative of taking a feedback, in the sense like everybody who receives a service gets, like how you see in a mall or anything like that, you have a feedback form that he gets on his mobile, where he checks on those, couple of, it's a very simple process. So if we find that he is unhappy with the service received through Sakala, a call center calls him back, and there's a longer questionnaire through which feedback is taken as to exactly why he is unhappy, what is the reason for this thing, was he not given the service on time, or was it that his access to the service was difficult, or was he, all the various questions. So it's a very long questionnaire through which we are getting our feedback, and every month, it's a pilot which we are running now, and every month we sort of announce an index called the Citizen Happiness Index or the Satisfaction Index to Sakala services. In addition to that, we are doing something called Citizen Need Assessment, Requirement and Need Assessment, through our call center plus our Sakala Mitras, as we call it, from colleges and schools who go around. We are trying to understand what the citizen requires and how he requires the service. And those are some initiatives I'd like to add to what Madam Shilpa has just told you, because your question was clearly on how we are able to get our feedback.
So government is on social media as well. I mean, we will be late entrants, but we are there on Twitter and every other thing. So again, citizen feedback, we take through that, but mostly urban population gives citizen feedback on social media. Can you guess the feedback that we get from rural citizens? How do we get it? It's there in the press. You can't escape it. It's there in newspapers, it's there on TV. If some service, for example, the property services like Iswattu, if they go down, you'll have what is that, the ticker on TV, Kannada channels that is coming. Suddenly next day you have a column and completely abusing the department and the government. Okay, things are not working, wake up. So we get our wake up calls like that as well. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nag. I would request you to please remain behind. And may I welcome Dr. Ravi Gupta, CEO and Editor-in-Chief, the Banking and Finance Post, to please present a memento as a token of our appreciation to Ms. Shilpa Nag. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for our closing keynote.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, actually, people have been like really tired after a whole day because we started at 9 a.m. So people have been exhausted. But thanks, Dr. Mamta, for your inputs also, and maybe present a moment to you also. It's our. It's okay. It's a nice picture opportunity. So just like do this.